So what I'm going to do instead is use my elbow here, okay? I'm going to push the arm down towards my other hand. My other hand is going to thread under here and go into the like half Kimura, okay? I'm going to push down. Now I can get the Kimura grip, okay? He just gets up like this, starts turning. My arms are still straight, okay? I want to maintain this control over his elbow. As he starts turning, notice the gap that's created over here underneath. I'm going to sneak my knee inside, okay? I still hold the Kimura grip. I'm going to throw my other leg over. Now I'm going to switch the grips from two-handed to a one-handed grip here. I'm going to get a seat belt. I'm going to pull him up and around to the other side. I'm going to come up, pin the arm to the floor, and pull up. As I do that, I'm going to sneak around. I'm going to back heel into his neck here to maintain proper posture. My other foot is behind his shoulder blade, okay? From here, I maintain the Kimura. I can finish it here. I would much rather throw the other leg over. I'll throw the other leg over his arm with my first leg. Now I'm in a three-quarter jiu-jitsu. Hello again, we're back here at Uprise MMA with Brian. We're gonna show today a move from top half guard where I present my opponent with dilemmas as to what to do once I get my Kimura grip. Or before I get my Kimura grip even. So this is one of my favorite moves to pass top half guard, precisely for that reason. Let's see what I mean exactly. So Brian is in my bottom half over here with the knee shield, frame perhaps here, and maybe stopping me from cross facing. So he's doing all the right things over here. He's on his side, etc., etc. The nature of the half guard here doesn't really matter. As long as it's not a butterfly half, then we have to deal differently. His foot could be on my hip or not, it doesn't really matter. What I need to do right here is get rid of this knee shield. So in this particular instance, what I'll do is I'll just drive into his knee shield a little bit until I feel that he pushes back. He will drive back inevitably, where I'm gonna thread my arm over here and I'm gonna use my palm up to cup and just pull. When I pull, I'm actually gonna pull my body. I'm not just gonna pull this way because my body is creating a lot of friction right now. So I'm just gonna pull my body slightly to create distance between us. Then I'm gonna pull, and then I'm gonna turn facing towards his feet. Right there. As I turn, I'm trapping his arm under my armpit. Okay, my armpit is situated between his shoulder and elbow, right here over his tricep. If I'm too high over here, he can start turning and causing problems. If I'm too low, he's gonna sneak his arm out, where I have other things that I could do, also very good things, but they're not the things we want to do today, specifically with the Kimura. So for that particular move, I would like to have my armpit over his arm, over his tricep here, and basically plug it in so it can, trap it. From here, he will have his underhook high under my armpit, because if he has it low, put it low please, then I can just probably reach it and start digging and getting the Kimura. So he knows that. Naturally he wants to protect his arm. So he'll have it high. If I start reaching from here for the Kimura, he might just roll me backward, right? So that's one thing I don't want to do. I want to make him give me that wrist, okay? So what I'll do is, right now my bottom leg, not this one, but the other one that's away from the camera, is actively driving forward. Okay, I'm on my toes. I'm not flat on my instep. I'm on my toes. So I'm driving forward here. Okay, so I'm gonna use my elbow here, and I'm gonna start driving. I'm gonna wedge it here. I'm gonna start driving forward. Let's get a little tighter until I can free up my knee. Right now, here's the fun part. If he doesn't do anything, okay, I can start going into the mount. I'm gonna have to release here, go into a nice cross face, maybe dig for an underhook. But if he doesn't do anything, I'll just go into the mount. So that's option number one that I'm presenting him with. Okay, don't do anything, I'll take the mount. I'll pass the guard, I'll take the mount. Option number two, which most people will opt for in this case, defensively, is he will take his hand and he's going to start pushing on my knee. Okay, regardless of how advanced or beginner he is, that's probably one of the reactions, the most common reaction we'll see. So as he starts doing that, again, I'm not going to reach back here because he might be timing this and setting a trap for me. He's going to reach with his other hand and pull me back. I don't want to expose my elbow to his other hand. I know the other hand is back there because I feel it framing on my back. So what I'm going to do instead is use my elbow here, okay? I'm going to push the arm down towards my other hand. My other hand is going to thread under here and go into the like half Kimura, okay? I'm going to push down. Now I can get the Kimura grip, okay? One more time here. He's right here with his hand high. I'm going to start walking until I get his hips flat on the floor. Right now, he's on his right hip. I want to get both of his hips on the floor. Right? Now he's flat. Now I can start driving his knee. He reacts. I bring that hand with my elbow towards my other hand. Okay. Now, once we have this Kimura grip here, it's not viable to think that we can finish it from here, because as I start finishing, he's going to come up with me. It's just not in the cards. Okay, so let's turn around a little bit. Come this way, please. Yes. Now, once we get to the position here, what I'm going to do now is take the opportunity to tripod, get a little pinch a little tighter. I'm going to tripod here, almost, and I'm going to roll over my left shoulder. As I roll over my left shoulder, I'm going to land with my arms stretched out and my wrists, both of them kind of motorcycling down like this, okay? I landed perpendicular to him. I don't want to land on his head, obviously. You want to keep your training partners happy. So I want to land in a so-called T-Kimura back here, okay? So as I'm here, right, I want to have my arms stretched. That keeps his elbow upright, or kind of parallel to the floor. If I land here, he's just going to turn into me. There's no pressure on his elbow. He turns into me, and he frees up this elbow. Pull your elbow back, this one. Frees up his elbow, right? So problems for me. I don't want that. As I land, I'm going to land with my arms stretched like this, okay? Try to do the same thing now, Brian, please. It's really impossible for him. From here, I'm giving him 4 options, okay? Practically. Option number 1 that honestly you don't see happening is him turning away. Okay, go ahead and turn away, please. If he turns away, he's going to lock his own shoulder here. And people realize that sooner rather than later. They don't do it. You know, as soon as they land in this position, they just don't do it. But it's an option. It's one way out, okay? Option number 2, very common one, is for him to start turning into me, okay? He just gets up like this, starts turning. My arms are still straight, okay? I wanna maintain this control over his elbow. As he starts turning, notice the gap that's created over here underneath. I'm gonna sneak my knee inside, okay? I still hold the Kimura grip. I'm gonna throw my other leg over. Now I'm gonna switch the grips from two-handed to a one-handed grip here. I'm gonna get a seat belt. I'm gonna pull him up and around to the other side. Lock a triangle, or just take the back, however it is, with hooks or no hooks. I'm sorry, with hooks or body triangle. Now, that's one of the more popular options. Option number 3 would be for him to start bridging and coming over. So as he does that, we do the same thing. I sneak both my knees on both sides of his hips. Okay, I still hold the Kimura here. As he's bridging, he's giving me the gap underneath his hips, so I can sneak both my knees underneath or around. So now what I'm gonna do is I have essentially control over his body. I'm gonna go into my seat belt. From here, I can pick a side or he can pick a side. Maybe he'll decide to turn this way. I feel that. I throw this hook as a bottom hook first. Okay, he turns the other way. I do the other way. I turn my right hook in. I want to get into a bottom. I want to put him into a bottom hook no matter which way he turns. Or maybe I can pick a side. I can turn him this way and throw the hook. Once I do that, I close the body triangle, or I throw both hooks in. And option number 4 for him, which is not uncommon at all, people don't react. He just stays there. And that's actually not too bad of an idea for him. Let's turn this way. That's not a bad idea for him, simply because he doesn't want to give me anything. He wants to see what I'm doing and then react from there, okay? If he's good and he has good defenses, that might be the best option for him. From here, what I'll do is, I can't take the back obviously. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna maintain the Kimura grip and start coming up. I'm gonna pendulum swing over here so I can get my butt off the floor. Then I'm gonna pin that wrist down and perhaps go into my Kimura, okay? This becomes a race of who has better execution, him defensively or myself offensively. Okay? That's one option. Second option from the same defense where he does nothing and stays there is I come up, I go up here, and I pull up. Turn him, and I come into an armbar position, okay? I maintain the Kimura. The reason I want to maintain the Kimura here is because my other leg is stuck behind his back. It's not over his body here like a regular armbar or 3/4 armbar. It's behind his shoulder, which is great. So this is a quarter armbar basically. But if I don't maintain the Kimura and I let go, he's gonna go into the hitchhiker escape. Go for it, please. Now I have to deal with this, okay? So in this option, I'm gonna come up, pin the arm to the floor, and pull up. As I do that, I'm gonna sneak around. I'm gonna back heel into his neck here to maintain proper posture. My other foot is behind his shoulder blade, okay? From here, I maintain the Kimura. I can finish it here. I would much rather throw the other leg over. I'll throw the other leg over his arm with my first leg. Now I'm in a 3/4 Jujiutani. From here, I'm gonna grab his arm. I'm gonna bring it back with the Kimura grip. I'm gonna point his thumb this way. It's a little unorthodox, but it's becoming more and more popular nowadays. I'm gonna point his thumb this way, his palm facing towards the ceiling. Now I'm gonna push his hand towards towards his own legs, so that his elbow is basically pointing same direction, okay? So now when I break it, the tap is very fast. I don't need to hip up or anything like that, because the fulcrum that's created here is against my own thigh, okay? This way. I can do this. I have to start hipping up in order to finish, and I only have this much range of motion. Here, the range of motion is as long as my arms are. Okay, so there's a big break for those double jointed people here. Okay. So this was the top half guard or half guard pass from Kimura with the Kimura grip, and again, the reason why it's so popular and so loved is that we present our opponent with some dilemmas as to what to do. Don't forget that if he doesn't reach for my knee on the pass, he doesn't reach to push my knee back with his hand and give me the Kimura, he's essentially conceding the mount or the pass at least. Some people will do that, undoubtedly, but most people would rather deal with the Kimura grip because they know that they will not be finished from that top half guard position. So they'll deal with later consequences rather than an actual pass or being mounted. And then on the finish line, it affords us like 4 or 5 different options, depending on his reactions, depending on what I like to do offensively. So I think it's a great tool to have in your arsenal. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Uprise MMA. Please like and subscribe.